Hi, I'm Emily Keenum with the Virginia Early Childhood Foundation, and I'd like to welcome you to Childhood Obesity Prevention and the role of the early care educator. As you know, childhood obesity is at this point a global epidemic with lots of problematic outcomes for young children. As we've discussed before, the early care educator can play a key role in creating a different trajectory for young children. In this video, we're going to take a look at the causes and impacts of childhood obesity and understand some of the best practice recommendations that can create a healthier early care setting for young children. These partners came together in 2017 to coordinate and organize some of the curriculum materials from the Nemours Foundation, funded through the CDC, so that we could offer a really nice overview of the recommended strategies for preventing obesity in early care settings. The standards that we're going to be talking about are sometimes referred to as HEPA standards, which stands for Healthy Eating and Physical Activity Best Practices. And these guidelines are a result of a lot of research and work together with the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention and other health and nutrition experts and pediatricians. They are also reflected in the manual called Caring for Our Children, National Health and Safety Standards, a subset entitled Preventing Childhood Obesity in Early Care and Education Settings. HEPA standards are not just important for creating healthy weight for young children and overall health promotion, but are a key part of a quality care environment. If we want children to have as much opportunity for success and healthy development, nutrition, physical activity, and other HEPA standards are a critical way of ensuring that early care environments are optimal for young children. Obesity prevention, which is a result of great HEPA practices, are only available through the power of early care providers. The environmental experiences that young children have are cultivated and designed by how educators make decisions in their classrooms. We know that parents often look to educators and providers to answer their questions about what's healthy for children. How many times have you had a parent say, "Oh my gosh, she does that for you, she never does that at home"? We know that you can figure out what in your classroom, how you interact with children, are opportunities for you to really intentionally teach children healthy habits and help them figure out some of the behaviors and strategies that will let them enjoy a healthy weight and overall healthy development for a lifetime. Families will appreciate learning from you in a safe setting, and we know that early care educators can make a huge difference for young children. I think that most of us are aware that obesity can have long-term impacts for young children. Some health conditions that used to only be seen in adults, pediatricians are finding now manifesting in young children. Heart disease, which typically shows up in adulthood, markers are now being seen as young as 2 years old. We also know from pediatricians that diabetes is skyrocketing. For children born in 2001, over a third of them are projected to ultimately develop type 2 diabetes if our current trajectory and pacing continues. This is the first generation of children in your classroom right now that, unless we can figure out how to offer them a healthier experience, are anticipated to have shorter, less healthy lives than their parents. For children in particular, healthy weight is related to their environment. Kids don't typically plan their meals and snacks. They don't typically make decisions about how active their play will be. They rely on caring adults and educators to presume the correct decisions that the environment needs in order for them to have those experiences that are healthy. We think about outside the early care environment, ways that children are so exposed to constant reminders and invitations to choose salty, sugary, and fatty foods and to be more sedentary than is healthy for them. How many of you know these slogans immediately, even before you registered the actual letters? I think you probably have children in your classroom who can tell you what the McDonald's logo is, and they may not even know the first letter of their name. What you're up against as an early care educator is the environment outside that constantly is urging children and adults to make choices around nutrition and behavior that are less healthy for them. So it's a further call to action that your early care classroom has to be an antidote to what's going on for kids in the external landscape. A nice framework for thinking about how you can improve your classroom in terms of HEPA is called the ABCs of a Healthy Me, which was developed by the Nemours Foundation. Active play, breastfeeding support, cut down on screen time, drink milk and water, and eat healthy foods. These are easy, simple letter reminders for what we know can make a really big difference for young children. So let's look at some of those best practices that are reflected in this ABCs framework. We start with active play. We know that children benefit when they have active play every single day, and that we are talking about both indoor and outdoor play. Ideally, children can go outdoors 2 to 3 times a day in a full day setting. Kids are most active outdoors, and in fact, they're most active in the first 5 minutes of going outdoors. How many times have you seen kids just tear out and go running? So the more times we can get children outdoors, the more active they're going to be. We know that children benefit by having lots of opportunities that educators plan for so that they can engage in age-appropriate motor and movement skills, both structured and unstructured, and ideally, you as an educator are looking out for moderate to vigorous physical activity experiences for children. So when they're breathless, when they are using large muscle movement and maybe even sweating, you know that they are engaging in MVPA, which is something that physicians are looking for. Preschoolers should be having a total of 120 minutes of active play every day. That includes all of those that we talked about in one, so indoors, outdoors, structured, unstructured. 120 minutes is what is a best practice recommendation for preschool age children. For toddlers, 60 to 90 minutes of active play is recommended every single day. And for infants, we encourage educators to shoot for tummy time at least 3 times a day, working up to 5-minute periods as children get more comfortable. We know there are lots of benefits when kids are active. Certainly, educators know that kids want to be active. They're naturally interested in movement. It's how they learn, how they grow. And additionally, we know that when kids are busy and moving, that they're building the healthy bodies, the bones, muscles, coordination, etc., that's going to really help them have strong, healthy bodies. Active play, when kids are getting enough of it, they have a lowered risk of chronic disease, less stress and anxiety, and generally are happier. Breastfeeding is another element in that framework. We know that breast milk is the most nutritious food for infants, and the American Academy of Pediatrics recommends exclusive breastfeeding as the ideal nourishment for young children for the first 6 months of life. Exclusive means that there's no other food or formula being offered to children. The Academy also recommends continued breastfeeding for a year or longer if the mother and child both are moving in that direction. Early care providers can support moms who are interested in nursing by making sure there is a private and comfortable place for moms to nurse their babies or pump their breast milk. And if educators can encourage moms and let them know that your center supports nursing moms and that you're going to try and make it easy for them to nurse their babies. There's lots of benefits, and interestingly, there are benefits not just for the child, but for the moms as well. So for kids, we know less asthma, a lowered risk of long-term chronic conditions like diabetes, asthma, and lymphoma, but that there are also for the moms a faster rate of returning to pre-pregnancy weight and some diminishment of mothers' long-term health risks as well. The C stands for cut down on screen time. I think this is certainly something most of us who care about children see everywhere. Kids are on their parents' phones almost immediately, it can seem. Screen time includes all of those instruments that TVs, DVDs, videos, computers, tablets, and phones. When we talk about screen time, that's what we're talking about. The American Academy of Pediatrics and also the Caring for Our Children manual recommends no screen time at all for children under the ages of 2. We also know that the best practice recommendation for children 2 and older in an early care setting is no more than a total of 30 minutes a week. I think most educators would agree that when children leave your care, they are almost certainly experiencing screens in their homes. So whether or not, no matter what age you care for, we know that most kids benefit having opportunities to play and be busy in your program and don't need the screens while they're in your care. The benefits of cutting down on screen time are pretty broad. We know that when kids are on screens, they're not doing those other important behaviors. They're not playing, they're not exploring, they're not engaging in other social emotional development. So screen time, when you cut that down, it opens up those opportunities. We also know that when screens are minimized, children are less exposed to advertisements, and children are less likely to engage in that mindless snacking of junky kinds of foods. D is for drink milk or water. Water should be visible, accessible for self-serve every single day for kids, and ideally, water is offered to children. The educator actually says, would you like some water at least twice a day? That's a best practice around water. Milk for meals is a priority. We know that for children between the ages of 12 and 24 months, they should be drinking whole milk. And if they're 2 and older, they should have skim or 1% milk. Best practice around fruit juice, if you are in a position to do so, we recommend that you eliminate fruit juice. Most kids are getting their juice at home. If your program decides that you really want to serve juice, the recommendation is only 4 to 6 ounces every day, and that it should be 100% juice, not a sugar-sweetened juice drink, which is often only 10% actual juice and mostly sugar. We know that kids get fewer calories when they stick to water and milk, that there are fewer added sugars, and that we actually see fewer dental cavities. Milk has wonderful benefits for children nutritionally, calcium, protein, and when fortified with vitamins A and D. The E stands for eat healthy food, and here are some of those best practices. We'd love to see children having fruits and or vegetables at every single meal and snack. Children's general consumption of fruits and vegetables is far too low according to food researchers. Best practice around fried and pre-fried foods. These are chicken nuggets, French fries, tater tots, those kinds of foods. Limited to once a month, almost as a special occasion, or never is fine as well. We encourage that half of grains that are served be whole grains. We encourage choosing low-fat dairy, so skim or 1%, cheese or yogurt, and certainly milks. Lean meats and protein are always better than those fried fatty foods, so chicken and fish are preferable. And we encourage serving meals family style, where educators sit down with kids and have pleasant conversation and pass and self-serve their own portions. Many studies find that when children enjoy family style dining, they learn to regulate their own eating habits more efficiently, and they tend to serve themselves more accurate portions that they plan to eat than when adults do it. We know that there are lots of benefits for healthy food, that fruits and vegetables are really essential in terms of vitamins, micronutrients, minerals. Same thing with dairy. There are really important nutritional components that children need to grow strong and healthy. Whole grains, fruits, and vegetables also contribute fiber to a child's diet, which is important for healthy weight maintenance and helps kids feel full. When children are able to eat lots of healthy foods and be exposed to a wide variety of healthy foods, they are cultivating a palate of preferring those choices over overly sugared or highly salty foods. The ABCs of a Healthy Me framework is not just for kids, but can be really important for early care professionals as well. So think about your coworkers and colleagues in your own work environment. It can be important for staff to think through how can they support their own health. We know that when staff are having healthier nutritional experiences and getting regular exercise and sleep, that they're more productive, they're absent less often, and that they tend to feel happier in their work environment when the work environment supports their wellness. Healthy staff provide a critical role model for children, for each other, and for families. The ABCs of a Healthy Me model also can support at-home healthy experiences. So please think about how can you teach parents, the ABCs of a Healthy Me? Would it be a good fit for your bulletin board? Do you think parents might want to talk about their ABC experiences at home and help each other plan healthier strategies and experiences for kids? Some educators put it in their newsletters or other communications with parents, such as social media, and really figure out how can we help parents understand that supporting child health and child healthy way is important for overall school readiness and overall child development. And really, often it's not that hard to do. The ChooseMyPlate.gov has really great resources if you're interested in finding parent support. This is an example of one called the 10 Tips series. So the website's at the bottom, but this can be a nice addition to your education for parents and can help you if you decide that the ABCs of a Healthy Me framework is something your families would respond to. Thank you so much for participating in this video on behalf of Kathy LaRue and myself. Good luck integrating the ABCs into your classroom.